Okay, whoops. Okay, for our second skin tone, I'm going to be using E13, E15, E21, and R1. And I'm going to color her a little bit different than I showed you with my first one. I'm going to start with my E15, which is my darkest color. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to drop in all of my dark tones first. Might scare some of you. Don't be afraid. I'm going to grab my E13 and I'm going to go over my E15 and into my image a little bit. Typically I'd be turning this image all around as I work. My paper goes all over the place. I'm going to bring in that second color. Now I'm going to go to my E21, which is actually the lightest of these three, and I'm going to fill in. And then I'm going to blend. This is another way that people color their images. A lot of times you'll see designers start with their darkest color first and then work towards their lightest. And one of the great things about that is you conserve your ink. You use more lighter ink, you use much more lighter ink than you do darker ink because you're constantly adding with your lighter. So start with your darker and you don't add as much light in theory and you save it. Next I'm going to go to back to my E15 and I'm going to add in my darkest tones on her little arm. Then I'm going to go to my E13. I'm going to go over my E15 and then extend a little bit. Now I know that this arm over here I'm probably going to make a little darker than this one, just because of the light source that I have in my head. I don't have one designated, but in my head it always seems over here. If I haven't picked one, it's always coming from the right. I kind of like to flick that into it, pull some of that in. Then I'm going to go to my E21 and I'm going to drop in my lightest tone. And I just want to gently blend that. Okay. I'm going to go back to my E15. I'm going to get her little legs here. I want to define her ankles. I want her toes to be a little darker. If you don't feel comfortable doing two areas at once, just do one area at once. And this one, doing it backwards like this might take a little more time to get used to, but I think when you do get used to it, you'll really like it. I'm going to go in with my E13 now. I'm going to go over my E15 and then add a little bit more to it. Now typically I'd be moving my paper all around, so I've got a little learning curve there. Might not be blending quite as nice as I usually do because of that, but I still think she looks great nonetheless. Okay, then I'm going to go in with my E21, drop in the color, and then I'm just going to do more of a gentle blend, maybe feather out towards my colors. I need to be careful because my E21 will definitely take away the tones of my E15 and E13. It will lighten them really quick. I can always go in and add more, so I don't need to worry if that happens. You can also see that I'm getting these harsh lines. Let me see if I can do that on purpose. There, I've got that harsh line there now. I don't want that, so I'm going to go back with my E13 and smooth that out. If that happens, don't be alarmed. You can fix it. I think it happens to all of us. And you can make your legs and your shading as light as dark as you want to. I could go on forever adding color to those, and I just love those warm little legs on her. They're so precious and cute. You can go back and like I'm doing, if you want to drop in, this is there, if I want to drop in more tones there and pull out some more highlights, I can easily do that. And even with my E15, you know, if I need to get some more of that deep tone in there, again, with a gentle hand, you can add that in. Now for her little cheeks, I'm going to take R81, and I'm just going to drop in a little circle here, and I'm going to drop in a little circle here. You want to be careful because your R81's going to take away the color that you've laid down prior, and if you want to take away, if you've got that hard edge, or if you want to add a little more, you could. If you want to take away that hard edge, I'm just going to take my E21 and just flick over it gently, just like that. And there we have two basic skin tones that you can work on mastering.